Hello my little learners, you can call me Lovegood and I hope you enjoy this video. Here are just a few things before we get started. Today I'm presenting you with part 2 out of 3 of chapter 13 of Ghostly Bonds, titled Werewolf Heart by Dead Man's Bones by KittyKqt on AO3. But anyways, thank you for tuning in to listen to me, but that's enough of my rambles and jambles and let's get right into the fic. Izuku was hesitant about this plan, at best. But, with his new ability to speak out loud for short intervals and his knowledge of both members' quirks, he knew this plan was their best bet, one he and Nezu had created together, so it had to work. He couldn't risk it not working. Urase had worked with him daily to strengthen his quirk, pushing it in ways he hadn't thought possible before. He was a good teacher, tough, but good. He had increased how long he could speak for, and had even managed to keep Present Mike's quirk working over a full conversation with him, about meaningless school stuff. He wouldn't give Eraserhead anything more. Before he knew it, he had a date. The attack on Hosu was the next night, a day before internships were over. He told Nezu as soon as he could, also equipping him with knowledge that Nomus would be present. Nezu had informed who he thought necessary and sent Izuku back to start their plan. The rain hit the roof gently as fires blazed below, Shigaraki sitting on a couch from the bar scratching his neck. Izuku had his hands stuffed in his pockets to avoid itching as well, but his biggest issue was Kurogiri. He stood unmoving in the rain, except for the way his mist swirled with the wind. "Excellent night we're having," Izuku spoke, pushing Present Mike's quirk forward. He had spent the majority of his time just resting, besides informing Nezu. He was strong enough for this now. He knew it. Shigaraki jumped up, spinning around to face Izuku's direction as Kurogiri's mist eyes narrowed. "Who's there?" Shigaraki asked, scratching faster. Izuku could see the flakes fall as he moved positions, keep them guessing. "Name's Ghost," he said, propping himself on the corner of the armchair. Shigaraki spun to his new location, throwing a hand through Izuku stupidly. It passed right through him, and Shigaraki shivered, pulling his hand back quickly. "Missed," he said as he moved again, standing beside Kurogiri. Shigaraki lunged for him again, shivering as his hand passed through again. He teased Shigaraki for a bit, the man getting more and more frustrated. One-word responses, just enough to provoke. As he thought, it wasn't until Kurogiri spoke that Shigaraki calmed. "It seems we are at an impasse, Ghost," he spoke, his voice steady and calm. "Got it." Izuku laughed, forcing the sound to carry as Shigaraki looked around wildly. He kept moving, keeping the sound travelling. "I am free to do what I wish. You are the ones stuck." Shigaraki scowled, but didn't move as Kurogiri placed a hand on his shoulder, a glorified babysitter, but not the mastermind. "I assume your name is in regards to your quirk?" he said, and Izuku hummed. You assume correct, Kurogiri." That seemed to spark something in those yellow eyes. Fear? Or anger? He tucked his hand behind his back as Izuku moved again. "I've been watching you two for a while," he admitted, and Shigaraki lunged for him again. He had already moved, so the man didn't shiver, just looked confused. "But we have yet to be discovered," Kurogiri pointed out, looking out onto the horrors of the street. Izuku had to fight to keep his gaze from the rampaging Nomus and blazing fires. "I assume this means you have plans?" Izuku laughed again, right behind Shigaraki, making him jump. "We all have plans. I am curious about yours." "Die!" Shigaraki screamed, trying to hit Izuku again. Honestly, he was tiring of this man-child. Nezu would be disappointed, to say the least. Kurogiri chuckled, adjusting his tie. "No, we can't share those with someone we can't even see." He glanced over at the fires and the screams, shaking his head. Where were the heroes? What was Nezu doing? "Would you like to follow us back to our place?" "What?" Shigaraki screamed, jumping up, scratching his neck more. The sound of his fingernails scraping along flesh sent chills up Izuku's spine as he tried not to look at him, the itch growing. "He could be on the heroes' side." Izuku was glad that they couldn't see the way he flinched, looking back at the carnage. If he was, why has our Hosu plan done so well? Kurogiri offered, making Shigaraki grumble. Why had it? Where were the heroes? They should have been warned. I assume you can use my portals? If you have been monitoring us. Izuku couldn't give off too much about his quirk. He couldn't use the portals, but his connection to Shigaraki was a quicker way to travel. They couldn't know about this. They couldn't know about his bonds. Unfortunately not, Izuku spoke, trying to keep his voice steady. I must take the long way. Kurogiri nodded as Shigaraki scowled. Very well. We will talk to you there. He formed a portal, stepping into it as Shigaraki followed before the portal engulfed the now-soaked couch. He had a time limit. He pulled up the bonds, grabbing Eraserheads and quickly pulling himself forward. The stark alleyway was a big difference to what Izuku had been expecting as he righted himself. Where are the heroes? Izuku asked, and Eraserhead jumped. Present Mic and Midnight stood with him. Present Mic screamed when Izuku spoke, Midnight needing to calm him. Nezu ordered us to wait. Even the Hero Commission can't argue with Nezu when he's set, Eraserhead said, anger seeping into his voice. Are you in? I'm in, Izuku responded resoundingly, trying to figure it all out. Eraserhead nodded, gripping his capture weapon. Then we're good. He paused, glancing over to the area Izuku was. Stay safe, kid. Alrighty, my little learners, that's a wrap of this one. A lot of this is bloopers. This is part 2 out of 3. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. So, my little learners, this is a little reminder that you might have something you need to do or check. I hope you all have a fantastic time, wherever and whenever you may be. Day, night, dusk, dawn, low tide, high tide, whatever it is for you. You can call me Lovegood, and that was part 2 out of 3 of Chapter 13 of Ghostly Bonds by KittyKqt on AO3. Again, the link to this fic will be in the pinned comment by me on this video, and tags are in the description as well as warnings. Bye, little learners. He had already moved, so the man didn't shiver. What? He had already moved, so the man didn't shiver. Fricking hell. I assume this means you have plans? Means. We all have... Nope, I hated that. What? Oh, no. What? 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 I can't do it. What? 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 He's screaming. Are you kidding me? What? The sound of his fingernails scraping along the along